In 1988, an anime emerged that forever transformed the world of animation. Set in the dystopian future of 2019, Akira not only unveiled a grim glimpse of what could lay ahead, but also marked the beginning of a new era for Japan's animation industry. 6 years prior to the film's release, Akira was conceived as a manga. Inspired by post-World War II reconstruction in Japan, political change in the 1970s, and a hunger for narratives that resonated with rebellious youth, creator Katsuhiro Ôtomo began creating Akira. As the world of Akira grew on paper, Ôtomo realized that Akira's world could only be fully fleshed out in the big screens. So began production of the film. At the time, Japan was in the midst of an economic boom, and countries were eager to invest in anime. With a production budget of 700 million yen, the equivalent of 5.5 million US dollars, and a staff of 70 creators, Akira is claimed by some to have been the most expensive anime film at the time of release. Ôtomo picked up the reins as the film's director. Tokyo Movie Shinsha, now TMS Entertainment, came on board as the animation production team. In the year 2019, corruption, anti-government protests, terrorism, and gang violence cast a shadow over Neo-Tokyo. The story revolves around two central figures, Kaneda and Tetsuo. They're both a part of the Capsule's biker gang, a loose group of rowdy, reckless, vandalistic friends. Their lives take an unexpected turn when a mysterious psychic incident grants Tetsuo unimaginable powers, triggering a chain reaction of events. Plagued by his insecurities, Tetsuo's newfound abilities plunge him into a tumultuous journey of self-discovery and destruction. Amidst the chaos, the enigmatic presence of Akira looms, a psychic entity of immense power that holds a pivotal role in the film. We also meet Colonel Shikishima, a military figure intent on controlling Tetsuo's power for his own ends. Opposing him is Kei, a freedom fighter with her own agenda, who forges an unexpected bond with Kaneda. As the city's political machinations and dark secrets intertwine with Tetsuo's transformation, Akira embarks on an electrifying exploration of power, identity, and human limitations. We follow Kaneda as he attempts to save his friend and prevent Tokyo from being destroyed yet again. Beneath the surface, Akira weaves a tapestry of themes that resonate deeply. The struggle for power and its corrosive effects, the consequences of unchecked ambition, and the thin line between progress and destruction are masterfully interwoven. Symbolism echoes throughout, from the impending cataclysmic power of Akira to the blinding city lights that obscure harsh truths. Now here's where I really get to geek out. Akira flaunts some of the most impressive visuals in an animated movie, especially for its time. Akira's animation is a marvel, with every frame painstakingly hand-drawn using the cell animation technique. This method involves stacking transparent celluloid sheets, including background layers, character layers, and an additional layer for things like mouth and hand movements. Akira even pushed the boundaries with frames using up to 9 celluloid layers, whereas the norm was 4 or 5. Keep in mind, this was done all by hand, and CGI, which was fairly new for its time, was barely used in Akira. The pattern indicator that Dr. Onishi curiously studies throughout the film is computer generated, but that's it. I'd also like to point out something that a lot of videos and articles get wrong, however. Akira wasn't shot exclusively on ones, which is a new hand-drawn frame 24 times a second. Akira's animated frame rate varied, with ones being used for intense action sequences or fluid close-ups, and 2s, 3s, and 4s used for other, more stagnant shots. I'll leave a great video in my description if you'd like to learn more about Akira's use of frame rate. Regardless, this approach resulted in an incredibly smooth animation style, breathing life into every detail of the film's world. Whether it's complex camera movements or the subtle play of red neon lights on a character's face, every moment is a visual masterpiece. The lighting in Akira is particularly striking. With cell animation, they had to craft light entirely from scratch, using external light sources, precise camera angles, and meticulous shading and highlights on the celluloid sheets. Akira's unique challenge was to use this lighting to create a cyberpunk world blending futuristic neon with classic noir themes. Despite the painstaking process of animating lighting for each frame and ensuring consistency, the result is nearly flawless. It's a testament to an incredibly dedicated team whose work stands the test of time. And so much attention was paid to the film's color palette, design, and visual style. The dark, gritty setting of Neo-Tokyo was difficult to render with a commonly used animation palette of colors. So, the production team invented 50 new colors, even in Akira Red. There's a tremendous variety of dark tones which were essential for crafting a film in such a setting. Yet, despite the dark palette, Akira's visual style is still rich, colorful, and bold. Looking at the final production backgrounds adds just another element of appreciation for the film, its creators, and the artists who made this all possible. The sense of scale is beautifully done as the rebuilt Neo-Tokyo buildings tower over every frame. Ôtomo chose to pre-score Akira's dialogue, meaning that the dialogue was recorded before the animation. This was a first for anime. With this process, animators could match their frames to the dialogue, resulting in a much more fluid and natural movement of characters' facial expressions when acting or speaking. A few decades later, and this process is still uncommon because it's time-consuming and costly, but it's more than worth it. One thing that Akira hardly gets enough credit for is its legendary score. Gei no Yamashirogumi, a collective of artists who all had various occupations outside of music, created the legendary score that we know today. Although Akira is set in a dystopian future, the soundtrack doesn't brandish many synths or other electronic sounds that we're used to. Instead, we hear a rather gritty, raw score that features Indonesian gamelan alongside percussive instruments and harmonics. Using the word unique to describe the score is an understatement, but it just works so well with the film. The foreboding feel of the soundtrack perfectly complements a setting riddled with political turmoil and a city on the brink of destruction. There are a few different versions to experience Akira sonically. Of course, the film was originally released in Japan, thus the original language was in Japanese. A year after coming out, an English dub of Akira was ordered. Many people call it the Streamline dub, although a more appropriate name is the Electric Media dub. It was produced by Electric Media and then released by Streamline. Come on, people. In 2001, Akira was redubbed and released to DVD, ushering in what we know as the Pioneer dub. Which one is the best? I'm partial to the Electric Media dub because it was the first version that I watched, but honestly, they're all good. The original Japanese version is picked for its authenticity and overall greatness, the Electric Media dub for a more fun and expressive approach, and the Pioneer dub for its linguistic accuracy, making it a challenging choice for fans. Do you have a preference? Whichever version you choose, the voice acting is dynamic, the ambiance and effects are powerful, and of course the soundtrack is amazing. It's easy to find yourself lost in Akira, for better or for worse. The film interweaves so many dynamics, from religious zealotry to social disenfranchisement to commentary on the perils of nuclear warfare and giving people, or groups, too much power. Some themes are overt, while others are much more subtle. However you enjoy this film, it's undeniable that Akira shaped today's world of animation and film. First, the success of the film completely changed how the world viewed animation. The widespread public perception was that the genre was for children and children only. As a result, animated content was often much more simplified and catered towards a younger audience. Akira, on the other hand, is bloody, violent, mature, and philosophically rich. And guess what? Everyone loved it. Although Akira wasn't designed for an international audience, it's largely responsible for anime's worldwide popularization. You may have seen the famous Akira slide in some of your favorite shows or movies. Pokemon, Star Wars, Adventure Time, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are just a few examples. Even the 2022 film Nope features the slide. Rian Johnson, known for the Knives Out franchise and Star Wars The Last Jedi, was inspired by Akira in his film Looper. The character Eleven in Stranger Things was also directly inspired, as she was a psychic child with powerful abilities. But Akira's influence reaches beyond film. Kanye West's music video for Stronger mirrored Akira's visuals almost on a shot-to-shot basis. He even said that the film was his biggest inspiration. A live-action adaptation of Akira has been in the works for nearly 30 years and has been stuck in development hell. Originally, Sony Pictures acquired the rights to the manga series with the intent of making a live-action film. Then it was canceled and acquired by Warner Brothers, who had the same intent. Since then, at least 5 different directors and 10 writers have been attached to the film. Actors by the likes of, Chris Pine, Justin Timberlake, and Joaquin Phoenix were considered for the role of teenage Kaneda. Andrew Garfield, Robert Pattinson, and Michael Fassbender were considered for teenage Tetsuo. Surely this can't be right. Oh, yeah, of course it is. Perhaps the biggest long-term reason for why the film was so difficult to adapt was because of the intention to take the story out of Japan and into a location more digestible to a Western audience. With these egregiously bad casting choices and talks about moving the setting away from Tokyo, it's hard to retain the core meaning of Akira. It heavily draws from Japan's historical context, notably its involvement in World War II, including the atomic bombings and the existence of Unit 731. The live-action adaptation saw a big development when rising star Taika Waititi was pinned to direct the movie. He later stated his desire to cast young Asian American actors for the lead roles and would stick closer to adapting the manga rather than directly adapting the existing film. As of 2023, Waititi plans to begin development after he finishes his upcoming Star Wars film. At this point, who knows if a live-action Akira will be made. Good, faithful live-action adaptations are few and far between. But the good news is that Katsuhiro Ôtomo will have power in approving or disapproving the remake. Ôtomo wants something new in the remake instead of just a one-for-one copy of the manga or anime. Akira is one of those films that needs multiple watches. Each pass presents something new, exciting, and ultimately builds my appreciation for this film. Rarely does a work of art propel its medium forward, leaving an unforgettable mark on an entirely new generation of viewers. Akira did just that. Thanks for watching.